Huge update coming to AC Valhalla today, and I want to get right into it. Don't want to waste any time. Just going to let you guys know that I'm only going to tell you guys the stuff that I find to be really big and important. If you want the full patch notes, go check in the description down below and I will have it linked. Let's get right into it. First off, in raids, Force Open will now be displayed correctly even if nearby allies are in combat. An issue was also addressed where allies would not help Eivor to open a door during raids. I had this happen so many times. Ubisoft, but at least they went in and fixed it, so that's good. And the two biggest thing for raids, allies will now return to the longship once a raid is complete, and added a timer until players can restart a raid that was just completed. For abilities and skills, ally NPCs or horses can no longer trigger body traps. They also adjusted chain assassination behavior. Players will no longer be able to assassinate a target who is tackled to the ground. The secondary hand slot will no longer be available when a two-handed weapon is equipped. And flaming powder traps will now explode when walking over the arrow. For user interface / HUD, again, just a lot of bug fixes and issue fixes, but as far as cool performance stuff, a new thing they added is that secrets will now be discovered when synchronizing a waypoint. Also, experienced travelers are now highlighted on the world map and on the compass when in proximity. Increased Odin's sight radius and enemies will now be highlighted for longer. Improved radius in which Sinan reveals keys. Reduced Sinan's view distance of materials, improve the objective beam behavior, settlement building beams can now be seen using Odin's sight, improved enemy target lock mechanic, and finally, bosses' power levels will now be displayed on their health gauge. This does not apply to regular enemies, of course. For quests, world events, and side activities, again, a bunch of bug fixes. If you had something that was maybe preventing you from being able to complete a mission or a quest, go check it out. It's probably fixed. They also increased the frequency of experienced travelers. And a funny one here, players can no longer use the fishing tool or the horn during the drunk walk with Tutor. I actually did that. Alright, up next for gameplay, combat, and AI, I feel like there's a bunch of changes here, so I'm just going to list everything off here. Addressed various bow aiming issues, improved NPC and boss behavior across the board. NPCs will now react to the player stealing, so think twice before stealing. Addressed an issue where dogs would start levitating when Eivor starts to pet them. I had that happen a couple times. Again, Ubisoft. Blocking Springald projectiles will now consume stamina as intended. Zealots that were hit with a sleep dart can now be stun attacked. And zealots will no longer heal themselves while in player vicinity. Guards who clearly saw Eivor shoot their ally will now turn hostile. That's a given, but a cool little thing. Guards will now hear the impact of dead bodies dropping to the ground. That's a new one, interesting. Improved guard reactions to whistling. Improved disguise behavior in distress zones. Shooting bows from the longship now consumes arrows. Aw. I loved it. If you guys saw on stream when I had that polar bear, they were just like feeding arrows to him from the boat. That sucks. Players will now be able to air assassinate sleeping NPCs, improve fish reeling behavior, the crowd will now cheer during drinking games, and a reworked sliding mechanic. I guess we'll see what that means more in depth. In world, of course, some texture and bug fixes as per usual, and fish in Norway will now spawn in bad weather. Okay. Crows will also no longer randomly fall from the sky in Asgard. Bruh. For game improvements, I know me and a lot of players, especially on Xbox, have been having some really bad problems with screen tearing. And I didn't really even notice it until you guys mentioned it in the comments, but dude, my screen tearing is atrocious. And when they say like various performance fixes across the board, I really hope that includes the screen tearing on Xbox. It's awful. But yeah, they mention improved stability and performance. On Xbox Series X, there's improved experience on Xbox Series S and X consoles, including screen tearing. I don't see anything about Xbox One though. A couple tweaks to the save game files and stuff. And for graphics, audio, and animation, a lot of graphical issue fixes, FX issue fixes, audio fixes, lighting fixes. So just like some really minor stuff. They don't really specify for this, but I guess we'll see it when we see it in the game. And then on next-gen consoles, they also added a feature to go from performance to quality. And performance allows the game to adapt the resolution and graphic settings to maintain 60 FPS, whereas quality enables the game to run maximum res and graphic settings while maintaining 30 FPS. And lastly, we have the miscellaneous section. They added a new background image to the title screen. Okay, sure, Ubisoft. Added various VFX to enhance visuals. Okay, that's pretty cool. Added an option that will automatically assign all nodes on the path when acquiring a central skill. Added rune categories to the rune menu. All runes are now categorized in weapon and armor runes. Added a warning when switching from a language that supports TTS to one that doesn't. Sliders can now be moved with left-right arrows on M and K and controllers. Increased fabric limit to 82. Added fabric to traders once the settlement has reached level 6. And lastly, added offering altar requirements to the world map. Alright guys, that'll do it for me on this one. Let me know what you guys think of the patch notes, and it's probably going live for you. Remember, in the description you can go check them out for yourself, especially if you want to see what exact time it launches for your platform of choice. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy this type of stuff. I just really hope they fix the screen tearing, man. That's all I want. Please, Ubisoft. I'm happy about all this stuff, but just the screen tearing on Xbox One. Please, Ubisoft. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.